Hi everyone, delonewolf here, and welcome to a first look at Defense Grid 2, a small little game that I bought when it was on sale, 75% off on Steam, less than €4. It's just a tower defense game, but it's also a pretty cool one in my opinion. I played the first Defense Grid quite extensively. I actually enjoy tower defense from time to time. I saw the sale and I did decide to grab it. So far all I've done is play through the campaign on normal mode, so which is really easy. Especially it's actually a lot easier than in Defense Grid 1. There we had some levels that really required a little bit of strategy. Here I get the feeling that you need a lot less, because there is one tower type that's quite a little bit overpowered, but this is like a fun little snack and I thought I would share that with you guys. Played around 10 hours to get through all of the campaign levels, and I guess that what we'll do is we'll work our way through one. Maybe we'll do like one of the final planets. So there's different planets, different chapters to go through. Each one has a number of missions. Getting through all of them basically tells the story a little bit. I guess we'll take one in chapter 5 here. We'll do double take. We'll just go in story mode. You can see it has a lot of different modes added to it, so the replayability for people that really love these types of games is definitely there as well. And then I'll just do another normal one. I don't want to stress myself out too much or try too hard here, just showing you guys the game, giving you guys potentially an idea if you want to get in on this snack. And one thing that is different from Defense Grid 2 is that you can now, actually not in this one, so that's a bad mission. So maybe we'll do the scarce resource next, and here we go. So you can choose a commander that actually has they all have different abilities that you can activate every couple of minutes. Here, for instance, we get an orbital laser weapon, we get a tower overcharge weapon. I really like this one. You get extra resources, which of course means that early on that can be pretty useful. After I found this one, I basically never switched to the others. A temporal blast special weapon, a precision targeting special weapon, and a core teleport special weapon that could actually be very useful as well in harder settings and harder missions. Probably the one that you'll want. And then something else that is new is that on your towers you can add a sort of an attachment. So for instance, here on the missile towers I can go with priority target, so that the strongest ones will be targeted first by my missile towers, or bonus against the fastest. It's options that you can have. I actually like priority target first here, and this is really the overpowered turret, just to spoil it already. Let's do launch. All of the others except for gun, I don't have any attachments there. The others, what I really like as well is on the cannon one, I've got tachyon shells that slow down the enemy for an additional and they take an additional 15% damage. That's also a pretty useful one, of course. Time is of big essence in tower defense games. And I get a little bit of chatter between commanders. And then actually, if you just click, you can speed things up a little bit and start to place your towers. Now, this is not a difficult level as far as I have experienced it myself, and we are just going to.
Pulled apart and examined. I did sense a communications routine, but it was nearly impossible to use.
We did hear you a little.
I'm glad to hear it. It costs too much to communicate. But enough about that, Commander. Aliens on the horizon.
And there we go. So this one, they have a very, very long route that they have to go through, and then they have to backtrack everything. So here you've got plenty of options to put everything down. I think we'll start with like a missile tower over here. And something else that is new, next to what we saw before, is this boost tower. That basically means that you can put something higher up. It will keep shooting. If you, for instance, put a small gun tower here and then a boosted gun tower here, both of them would be able to fire on this entire track. And then, honestly, the missile tower is decently overpowered, only costs a number of resources. So I think we'll put one down over here as well. And you can see that they start to one-shot these small guys, and this is really an ideal map where you can take it easy because these guys are going to cover a very large area. You can actually see that if you click on them, and they have plenty of opportunity to actually take care of the enemy. Right click and then you get out of the option, and this one almost covers the entire core, which is actually really important, as we'll see a little bit later. And then what you can do, we'll use the ability in just a moment, but I think we'll go with more laser towers closer to the core, missile towers closer to the core here. Really, if you want to basically have an easy time of it, just do that. Now use the ability close to enemies, and then it'll count a certain number of resources depending on what was in range of the tower. So we're gonna do another missile tower right here. We'll boost this, and if we get to 600 and we can boost something up, that's actually probably worth it, because it increases damage and rate of fire substantially, the Achilles heel. So let's upgrade that. And then you can see now here they don't one-shot enemies anymore, but it's such a long route here. This is actually a very easy level, except maybe for the last wave. And now this guy is gonna start to fire off 2 missiles at a time, and really there they go, taking care of them. And with the prioritize strongest, they will usually actually hit the more important targets, so that's actually pretty good. Next up here we'll put up another missile tower, and so this gives us pretty good coverage. Not yet perfect, right? The band all the way at the end here could use some coverage as well. But this is going pretty well. Next wave coming in, lots of small guys, so I would love to be able to upgrade, or could have maybe used resources at this point. Really depends on timing is important when using your big weapon, but I think that this will already start to really do a lot of damage to them, and we are ready to do another one. I'm really going to prioritize this, and if we put a missile tower here, you can see that it also starts to cover. So we're going to put one here and here as well, just to cover all of these long tracks here that they have to go through. So more missiles. I'll put up another boost tower here, and then I think we have the bases ready for something that will be nigh impregnable. And then here we get a very interesting band, of course, that will allow us to do some special stuff as well, that'll help us when we need to do more damage more consistently. So you can see here they're still trekking through typical tower defense mode. Super stable game, really runs like a charm. No problems with performance, no crashes, no nothing. I think that the graphics are pretty decent, rather crisp. You can even see the background here. We're on like an island atoll with high cliffs, and you've got water, and then you've got some, I don't know, maybe production facilities or something like that in the background. It's pretty cool. I really do enjoy this game. Now we've got to make a choice, of course. Do we want to play it safe and get like a really big one here? Could be useful, or that's 1200 resources, of course. It does start to be a little bit costly. Or do we start to build on a central defense? Once in a while, after a wave is beaten, you'll get extra resources, so that does mean that I can basically wait for the 1200 now. And here we go, next type of enemy. These guys have shields. Now it'll be slow enough that especially if I get an upgraded tower here, that we will be absolutely fine. But there are counters to this as well, and this is where our bottleneck here is going to become very important. So we have a first fully upgraded tower. So that's tier 3 missile tower, fires 4 missiles and actually one-shots one of these small shield guys. They're far enough away with the other missiles that we will be absolutely fine. So we are going to start to work on our bottleneck here, trying to slow him down and everything. And in order to do that, almost always use a boost, because that does mean that we get some extra options. And then of course what can be very handy is a temporal tower. You can see that it'll cover a very nice part of the track here, and that is going to slow down these enemies once they get into range. at regular intervals. It's not very fast, but there you go. These guys are already stuck. Now they're being stuck a little bit. Now they're being peppered by my missiles. And you can also see that they have these cloaked units that can be very annoying. So that's why you can get a disruptor upgrade from the boost tower that'll actually disable shields while they're in range, and it shows these cloaked guys. This is actually annoying because they got through here. So I'll have to be a little bit careful with these cloaked guys. I should have set that up a little bit earlier. If they had been disrupted all this route, I think we would have gotten them. So we'll have to keep that in mind. I think I'll upgrade you next, and then I'll upgrade this one as well. Temporal tower doesn't cost that much to fully upgrade. And now I guess, no, some of these guys are still cloaked back here, as you can see. So let's see. Oh, they are being cloaked by those non-cloaked ones, by the central unit. So that was actually, this won't be a problem. They are getting a little bit farther, as you can see here, and they do become tougher and tougher. But here you see these very fast guys being slowed down is very handy, of course. We can keep firing our missiles, and they won't get through. Then I'll do the final upgrade as well. That means that this bottleneck is fully ready. Here go our fast little bug-like alien enemies. The other wave has been taken care of, and whenever they pass these fully upgraded ones, they'll be in trouble. And we are ready for another resource boost. So take a couple more down. Look at that, these guys are getting further and further in. And they do prioritize the ones that have the most HP at this point. But that's okay. Once they have to get through all of this, that's when we'll really start to hit them, of course. So fully upgraded, almost fully upgraded missile tower number 2, I should say. And now we've got some bosses coming in. Might be worth it to look into a resource boost here. I'm not sure if we'll get... Now, it's maybe per unit. We'll have to test that in the next one. 5-minute cooldown does take a while. But so we've got a little bit extra at the ready. And we do feel pretty comfortable. Now, of course, here, these guys will be slowed down. They'll be targeted by these missile launchers, but that gives us option to do some extra stuff. For instance, here, I think an Inferno Tower, of course, could be very good, right? AoE, limited range, so Inferno is like a flamethrower tower. So we'll put that up here. And that will hopefully help. Let's upgrade that as well. And then to make this one a little bit stronger, right? He's really well placed. He's doing lots of damage, including on the bottleneck. I'll show you guys. If you have the boost tower, so the base foundation, you can use upgrade score so that anything close to it will provide more resources, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it's just more score, I'm not sure. Upgrade disruptor, we just saw that, disable shields and shows cloaked units in range. And then upgrade overcharge, charge 25% extra damage. That's actually pretty damn nice as well. And here is another mechanic that's different from the previous one. You no longer have separate flying units. The missile towers can actually hit ground units, but from time to time they'll drop these pods right on top of the core, and the HP of the pod is basically going to dictate the HP of the minions that they will drop. They'll immediately grab course and try to make their way back. And of course the real danger is if they would do that. Let's also give this one the overcharge boost. While another wave is getting close by, then they might meet each other, pick up the course, and then you would be in a lot of trouble. But there we go, that one is taken down. I think we'll upgrade this one as well. And this one is 600 to upgrade, shouldn't take too long. And in the meantime, these slow, larger units, they do take a beating, but these missiles are like super powerful. So we can upgrade you, then we'll do that one as well. And now we are really safe. This is a tower defense game, of course. Get into the harder modes and tactics become more important. This is also one map where you don't really have any options when it comes to blocking these units. There are levels where you actually have to do that, where there are very direct routes for the units to reach your cores, but then lots of possibility to place stuff down, including, for instance, you could then place one down here, they would go around that, or they would maybe take a completely different route, and thus part of the challenge becomes you managing the waves and trying to make their trips as long as possible. Not all of them, right? This is basically an easier level, a slower level, more relaxed, where you can just, you know, slow them down in this bottleneck because you've got a lot of room to put up quite a few towers in close proximity of a U-shape. And then after this, right, just make sure you've got maximum coverage basically in order to take the rest down. And there you go, my Infernal Tower is just burning these guys to a crisp while they've been slowed down. And over here we get a couple of small guys that escape, but my missiles attract them all too well, so that is not a problem. Another tower type that I really love, I'm going to show that over here. I always boost because the 200 resources for 25% extra damage is really worth it, is of course the Meteor tower. Very long range as well, and also AoE with burning damage. Very, very cool tower in my opinion. So we're gonna work on fully upgrading that one as quickly as possible. It's just going to keep more firepower on that bottleneck. But yeah, you do need that to diversify a little bit. You need some disruptions on the field for the shields and things like that in order to get through some of the levels. There's more shields, so now you'll see how important this bottleneck is going to be, because we're still firing very heavily on this stuff, and with 1,000, there we go. So they won't be broken for quite a while, but once they get in range of the disruption field here, then you should see the shields disappear. Now, it takes damage, right? You can also damage them, but there we go. They just come in range, they're slowed down, the shield is gone, and we can just take care of that shield boy after taking care of the front one. Very easy, very consistent, and really good to have a bottleneck like this prepared somewhere, of course. So that's that. I think after this one, we'll slowly upgrade some more missiles, but then you can imagine if you have waves of smaller units that keep coming in, then these meteor towers, I'm actually gonna put up a second one, will help a lot here as well. And there was another bot that just dropped, but my missiles are well in range, and they can basically make sure that it goes down to the lowest HP possible. Maybe I'll upgrade you as well for these bots, because sometimes they will drop more of them as well. Up to 4. There goes the next wave. Relatively fast guys with half HP. And then I'm not sure what it is behind there, but yeah, on top you of course have a view of all of the waves. We gotta go through 30 waves in order to get through this level, but this bottleneck will really help us normally to get through the level pretty quickly. And here again we try and protect our core as well as possible. And they're actually getting through. You can see, especially some of these very fast guys, they are getting through, but all of them are suffering a decent amount of burning damage. So I guess that we need more meteor towers so that we can do more AoE on a wave like this. We'll upgrade that as quickly as possible. And there go these fast little guys. Luckily, missiles are waiting. And while they're on their roundabouts, they get taken out by these missiles. Missile tower is, I think, by far the most powerful. Definitely if you manage it a little bit, right, on some of those levels that I was talking about, where you need to create a longer route for the aliens. They help a lot. Because of their massively long range and their really strong damage early on. You no longer have to, this is something that I did notice in Defense Grid 1, you no longer have to basically only focus on some gun towers because they're so cheap early on. You can now basically focus on the missile towers if you want to early on. That has changed, right? The cheapest one was really important early game. Now because of that boost, right? Let's try the boost here because we still have quite a few shielded guys. Because of that resource boost, you can, I think, much more comfortably get one of these bigger towers early on. And yeah, they have shields that recover, or maybe not. They've taken some damage, so these missiles will not have a big problem with these waves, with these remaining units, as we can see. And then here we've got some more big boys with the transport. So this one will probably drop smaller stuff after it's destroyed. And this is going pretty well. Next up here, let me think. Maybe I'll show you guys another tower that's very interesting. Does have a lot of potential. But here I don't have a good place. I like to combine this slow down tower with the concussion tower. That basically constantly drops explosives around it. Now here it has a pretty good coverage of this whole turn here, and we could maybe try to extend the bottleneck by putting up like another. I think that's what I'll do on this one, putting down a slowing down tower over here perhaps, or maybe here, to try and catch them a little bit earlier and make all of this a deadly zone. Although it really doesn't help this concussion tower, so we'll just upgrade that one, try and finish it as quickly as possible. And then I still need those missiles to be upgraded as well after that. But yeah, this temporal tower, really important in order to counter some of the stuff that comes in. And now the waves are sometimes decently intensive. Oh, where's the bosses? Over here. And then the transport must have gone down. And ooh, these cloaky guys survive. Now, you don't need disruptors every single time there's a cloaky guy, because being right next to a tower actually also uncovers them, and something that would be like very close range, like a gun tower, would be very good for that as well. Where would we have good coverage? I would say over here. So we'll boost that, and we'll put 2 extra gun towers just to have that option. Ah, damn. And I double clicked, so I resold, but we want to put a gun tower here. There's the transport. Wasn't actually transporting anything, so that's okay. But yeah, gun tower, 100 for the base tower, 200 for the first upgrade. And we got a big boost from this wave, so that's nice. Let's see if they fire at these cloak guys. Yeah, there you go. Because they're close enough, you do get some extra firing on that. And as they'll go over here, they'll take even more damage. So that should be just fine. And in fact, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make these disruptors as well, just in case. Upgrade to disruptor. Let's do that one as well, just so that we have some extra disruptor range. I like the symmetry that you can build, of course, in some of these. That's really bad for them. Big AoE, that means we can upgrade you fully. Maybe we can start to work on this one as well. And there we go. We now have some disruption gun towers. And yeah, here are the cloaky guys. They're still going. Not sure if we'll even get in range before they grab the cores, but on the way back, of course, we should be absolutely fine with this. Oh, no, they come too close to this missile tower, so they get fired upon as well. The disruption field, not really in range there. Interesting. So it's gonna be close because of these cloaky guys. Cool. What else did I want to say? Oh yes, this one is also not even sure. Oh man, they actually get caught by the temporal things as well, where they have to backtrack all the way here. So unless spots are dropped, you do have plenty of time to cover these aliens, and that's part of the fun, of course, in a tower defense game. There you go. They have just been taken down. But there are other maps where you basically have a orange marker that shows the entrance, and then actually a blue marker that'll go to an exit somewhere else. So that doesn't really give you the backtrack option here. Basically, all your towers will almost optimally run through. Now here you can see something else, a new mechanic. Sometimes they drop shields, and so then they give them to passing enemies that don't have shields themselves. This guy is now coming into range of this field, loses his shields. This is really important and actually very, very powerful. So pretty good to add that. And we could try... Yeah, I'll put down a temporal one here as well. And then maybe, because we want him to mostly fire at this one, I'll also try and do 2 towers here, one with a boost and one without. So we'll do another temporal here that'll disrupt. And then maybe here I'll put up a laser tower followed by a boosted laser tower. Let's upgrade that to slow things down a little bit. Laser tower on top, and then let's see if both of them can basically cover that path right there. That's basically also a use for the boosted towers. It basically allows you to put more intense defenses. There goes the first one. And you can see, oh, well, it doesn't. Yeah, he does keep tracking even above this one. If you'd put both of them on a boost or not on the, or both of them on the ground, you wouldn't have this constant firing through this this part of the map, the bottleneck that we are trying to create here, basically. So now they lose their shields. We can do lots of damage. And there we go. I guess I'll upgrade these guys as well. These are definitely some big guys, but look at the amount of damage that they take. And these missiles, very, very strong. I'll show you guys. So I think, oh, there come the pods again. So this is a little bit more intense. Oh, and I should maybe try and use my booster here. Alright, only 300 resources. Not sure exactly how that one works at this point, but we got them. And I think this one was the latest one that we upgraded, definitely a lot past creating this one. So what I'll show you, this has 63,000 damage, and this has 67,000 damage, despite the fact that it's been firing as a green tower for a very long time. And then if we go for this one, has 140,000 damage. Basically, I think that they just dish out the most damage, and so they are the optimal towers, the strongest towers that you can get at this point. Alright, let's upgrade this, and this, give it a disruptor boost as well. And here we go, here we get some pods that are trying to get through by using shielded enemies. Now luckily they get slowed down by this booster, and my missiles can take care of them. But these guys are running away with the cores, as I've said. And so the real danger is if this wave would then meet before I can destroy them, they would pick up this core and run back very quickly. So this is really a management that you need to do. And you can see some of these big guys, well, they don't have a lot of HP left. Here the most dangerous phase is basically after they drop the pots. If you don't have enough damage here, you focus everything on your bottleneck, you're gonna end up in trouble because of these cores. In fact, these guys are still escaping, and ooh, these guys are repairing guys. All right, looks like it. So unless they continuously take damage, and I still have to upgrade that one as well. All right, here we go. Overcharge. No upgrade available because it doesn't have that, and then we'll do another disruptor. At least that first one is burning as well, which means that he's not repping, and there we go, taken out. Didn't drop, there we go, drop the core, and look at this fast guy is already running back. So this here is a bit of a more dangerous phase. So what I'm gonna try and do here is just try and slow them down if they were to get back to this final tower. Definitely want to take those down as well. I need to improve my damage, so we're gonna upgrade this one. On this side, what tower don't I have yet? We're gonna try and add that firepower as well. And here we go. You can see now that because of those special shells, they can actually still... Oh man, and now we get some fast guys here. So this is starting to look a little bit more dangerous because of these healing units that are actually backtracking with cores pretty far away. Very impressive. Okay, we don't have a Tesla one yet. And then we don't have... Get concussion, we get cannon. So we've got everything else. Maybe I'll just do a double Tesla just in case. Try and upgrade those. Upgrade this one. Alright. And then of course, as long as they don't drop the charges, these guys are gonna continue to run the gauntlet. So they'll continue to be nicely in range of my missile towers. We'll upgrade this. A little bit more. And then we get some big boys coming as well. Alright. Normally, if I would focus more on the missiles, we would be fine. But I wanted to show you guys some of the other towers as well.
The tower boost makes an ordinary tower even more deadly.
Overcharge that stuff. More damage. And where are those healers? There they are. So they'll be going back this way, that way. And then they are going to reach the bottleneck. We're just not doing enough damage to them. Let's... maybe just to mix it up a little bit, we'll put down some meteor towers here as well. Actually, that would be very strong against these because meteor towers have a dot. And so they'll be healing a lot less if we do that. So I think a mix of missile and meteor towers is basically the strongest you can get. Now my gun, man, these guys heal fast and a lot. This will not be that easy, but okay. The bottleneck should basically take care of things in my opinion. Keep firing, guys. Let's give them the overcharge boost for more damage. And here we go. What will we put down? How can I do even more damage? Maybe we can basically try and put down another missile tower here to keep going after the bottleneck. This is the final wave. You can also see that my resource accumulation stops in the final wave. So you do want to be ready at this point. Luckily, these big guys are taking a beating. These guys should not survive the gauntlet. And then the real challenge is these four. Will I have enough damage ready in the bottleneck in order to take care of them? We'll know very, very soon. Transport, maybe he'll still have some stuff. And I could use a final resource boost as well. Maybe. Nope, didn't have anything. So these guys are going down. But now here is the challenge. These self-repairing little bugs. But they of course will take constant beating from my laser towers as well. And then especially if they get into range from my Inferno tower. They hardly do so. They're taken care of, and there are the cores back.
Fighting skills are more than intact. Well done, Commander. Indeed, well done.
And then
Zakara appears away. Has anyone heard from Zakara?
they basically try to tell the story a little bit. But alright, about half an hour for this level. There's actually like a pretty high-end level, and apparently I unlocked something. So maybe I'll just do. Exit. Yep, there we go. Exit. And then you could just move to another one, or once you've gone through the story, you can choose all of these levels. And let's see if I press next here. Oh, I have my first upgrade for a gun tower. I guess this also allows you, if you start off on a setting that is like a little bit harder to do, then getting these upgrades could be part of what's gonna get you through that. And apparently there's quite a few things to unlock, because here I'm at my third one, and well, that looks like it's it. You've got 4 slots: none, 1, 2, and 3. And here, for instance, for the cannon, you've got prioritize strongest. Can be very handy, of course, because you don't want big damage turrets to waste a lot of their damage. Shield buster shells, of course, unless again you create that bottleneck with the disruptor field, then this can be nice as well. And then of course the tachyon shells, I really like these because they slow down the enemy. All of them will have different types of effects. Beam inflicts a 10-degree cone of damage to target area, so Yeah, there's lots of stuff here for the temporal. I've got increase heavier burden or not. There's still, I think, one that I can unlock here as well. But that's gonna be it, guys. One level, a first look at Defense Grid 2. I really enjoy these tower defense games. This is a very nice one, I think, just as an extra little game to explore, especially when it's on sale. The way I grabbed it, 75% off, less than €4, just 10 hours to get through the easy mode campaign. And as you can see, lots and lots of modes, lots of options, lots of unlocks as well. So quite a bit of replayability. You're definitely gonna get your money's worth in entertainment, in my opinion. That's gonna be it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.